folks, it's Ultra here, and welcome back to Eternia SMP, the best place on the planet to play Minecraft. Or Minecraft 1.20? I think we're still on 121, I think. Not sure. It's been a long time since I've played because of real life. But today we're going to start something special and important and something I've been talking about for a while. And we are going to do a detailed base tour of my entire base. I'm talking with my hands, you can't see me. And the reason is, I mentioned in a previous video, sorry about smacking my lips, but I mentioned in a previous video that I finally have completed my entire original base plans. Now don't get me wrong, I still have tons of plans for expansion and other builds and everything, but I have finished my original plans. And that started 4 years ago at the server. The server is almost 4 years old. And it took me that long to complete my original plans. But they're done. So we're going to tour everything. Because it's been a while. And there are a lot of details that go into every single thing I build. And we kind of build it and forget it. And we never really go back to it or talk about it. Sometimes we see it a little bit. Sometimes we do utilize some of it. But for the most part, most everything I've done, we build it and just don't ever go back to it again. So it just sits in the background. And because of that, I want to do a full base tour. It's going to be long, so it's going to be multiple videos. It's going to be like a mini series. I'm hoping to do it within 3 videos, maybe 4, but I don't want to go much more than 3. They won't be terribly long, but they're not going to be little quick videos either. I'm just thinking how I'm going to do this. I did not plan this ahead because I just kind of want to go with the flow. However, I can't forget things like my Badlands base over there, my copper mine over there, a new fishing hut that I haven't even shown you yet over in the deep ocean. We have that trowel ruin way over there. We have all the stuff in the nether. Yeah, so there's a lot. I hope I don't forget about it. Oh, we also have that rail going out to that new village that we found. So there's a lot to talk about. So first things first, how did we end up right here? Microbe. That's his name, Microbe. How did we end up here? Well, if you recall, maybe you don't recall because it's been almost 4 years, we landed right around the corner there where our museum now sits. That was our first landing spot. But then I didn't like it for some reason. Oh, I know why. Because there were too many trees and skeletons and creepers respawning under the trees even in the daytime. So I ran away. Went way over to the other side of the server. Thousands and thousands of blocks from here. Where there's like cold, flat mountains. And we built there for a couple days. I didn't like that either. So I took everything down. Made it look like it was never touched. Wait, I still have torches. The heck? I know we have torches here. Oh man, I gotta take care of that. We shouldn't have any torches lying around except there and here. Anyway, I thought that was a creeper. Scared me. This is supposed to be spawn proof, but we'll see. So, the signs. Anyway, so then we took everything down from the cold area. Made it look like we never touched it. Came back, landed in this area, built this office. As my first little actual home that was safe was this little building here. And then when I was wandering around, I realized we started right around the corner. So I didn't intentionally pick this area because of this area where that flower is. It just is coincidence. So that's kind of cool. So that's how we started. That's how we ended up here. And then for 4 years, we've just been building. And then I've been doing it in phases, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, whatever. And we've expanded a little bit. Took over that village, for example, and made routes to a village over there, that type of thing. Otherwise, I think that's it for introduction, how we ended up here. So now let's just go over our builds and do a base tour and see what I remember to say. And I'll probably have amendment videos at the end of this. But anyway, let's get started here. So as I mentioned, this was the very first thing we did was built this little thing. It wasn't called an office then. It was just a building that was actually solid. And then once we moved into here, we gave it windows. I remember that. And we made it look pretty in here. We called it an office. There's nothing in here. There never has been anything in here. It's just it was a place for me to start before I had a more permanent home. Whoops, which is actually, come on now. My permanent home is actually up here, but I never ever start there. I always start on a little bed here because when I would be crafting a building, I'd sleep. So that's where I start every video, or every time I log in, I start right there on the side of that wall, even though that's my main home. Isn't that funny? Kind of funny how that works. So anyway, so I built this, and then we built down, we made it look pretty, and then eventually I dug it out, and that's where our horse is, and I've never done anything with this horse, ever. I rode it over here, put armor on it, tied it up, and we've never done anything. So this poor horse has been here for 4 years, just about. Just hanging out, doing nothing. And I have a feeling I used to have a gate here at one point. Did I? Did I have a gate here too? That would make sense. Why would I have a gate here, but not here and not there? See what I mean? Anyway, so we dug all this out, made it look pretty, and not sure what this was supposed to be. Anyway, but this was all a little hill, right? Obviously, that I carved out, added some windows. My office is above there. And here we have Germ, our only dog. There's a dog park, but this is our only dog. And then Toxin, and then Microbe and Virus, and then Squirrel, my real-life cat Squirrel. So I don't know. This had nothing to do with COVID or anything, even though that's when around the time the server started, right, 4 years ago. I just named them these things just to be silly. Anyway, whatever. And this is here because I used to keep falling over and falling in here, so I gated it off. Plus, I think there were mobs over here at the time. Ooh, it's almost time to take a nap. So that's the first thing I did was all that. And then I put a lightning rod on it. Why did I put a lightning rod? Because I had pigs that turned into zombie piglins, or whatever they're called now. Because they got struck by lightning. So there is a lightning rod here. And there's a lightning rod up there. There's a lightning rod there. I know it's like a 50 block radius, but I have them everywhere. Even though I'm sure I don't need that many. So that's that. And then on the back side, we'll talk about later. It's all finished off with, landscaping and things. So that's the first thing I did, was build this little thing out as a place to stay while I figured out what I was going to do with my life. And then, snack time. And then we moved into here. We dug this out. And I gave it a sign right away. The tall turtle's mega amount of storage. We came in here, but this was just a little tiny, like, 9 by 9 by 9 cube with all these, I guess it would have been barrels already, probably. And then there's a stairwell right here that went up to the house. So right here, man, my Minnesota accent is really coming out today, isn't it? Holy cow. It's because I was watching this video on accents. Sorry. Oh boy. Oh, I had torches in there. I didn't even realize I have torches in here still. I never looked. Anyway, this was a little cube carved out. There's a cave back here, and then there was a spiral staircase going up to what is now my house. And then I just started digging this out because one thing I like to do in Minecraft is just dig holes. It's relaxing. I get in the zone. I just dig holes. So then I dug all these holes, and then I put them all together. And then once the house was built, I dug this up just for fun. And then I filled all this in with barrels. It used to be rows and rows and rows and rows of barrels, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of barrels. There's rows of them like a library. But then I had a font problem, which I didn't know was a font problem. Well, let me sleep quick. And my frame rates are going down to like 7 frames per second. But when I would leave the area, they'd be 100 or 300 or something. So I thought it was because I had too many signs. So I took out all these barrels and just made it on the edge. I still had a font problem. Again, not knowing it was a font problem. Then when I updated the RedCraft texture pack, I realized it was a font problem. Changed the font, or I redid the font. It's still RedCraft's font. I just reworked it and put it back in the RedCraft texture pack, and now it's fine. So anyway, that's why we have this big space, because this used to be all filled in. But then we had that problem, so I got rid of everything, but that's okay. So we still have all of our storage in here, and it's organized very well. I started getting lost in my own storage, so the other day, which I didn't do on video, is I highlighted some of the ones I go to most, just so I can find them. It's like, oh, I know, like, candles are next to this. I can go here They know candles are nearby, because I was getting lost in my own stuff. So I just highlighted a few things just to give it attention. And here's the bed I'm talking about. I have a clock, so I know. Before I had the intelligence to watch Dynamap, I would stare at my clock, but then the texture pack makes it hard to see. So I would stare at the clock and know when to sleep. And this is where I start every time. Right next to Virus, my buddy. And I start here every time he lives on my house. And yes, I do have a black cat in real life, and she sleeps on me every night, driving me insane. But whatever. So this is my storage area. Obviously, you see this a lot. Then I lit it up with these things because they're cool and they glow. This is protected up here. I don't know if I ever talked about it, but there are buttons on every single one of these because things were spawning in here. When I would come in, I'd have creepers everywhere. Even though, I mean, that was before light level 0 was the thing, right? So there's buttons up there. Otherwise, I think you know this area quite well. Got the flag. I got my netherite helmet because I usually wear my turtle helmet. And then gold for the nether, so I just have a netherite helmet there. That's from Epona. That was a gift. And then my tools, right? There's my, I call my spawn egger because I fish for spawn eggs with that. I use that Clayton to get clay balls with fortune, and then diamonds forever because that's my fortune pick. Another clock, and then just basic tools, right? Very simple. And then just adventure things. I'm getting a bunch of bundles from fishing. But anyway, so that you all know, here's my automatic multi-furnace type thing. Very simple. I dump stuff in there depending on what it is. It just goes through the process and dumps out here. I'm super proud of that. Very simple. I actually came up with the idea myself and then found out that's how everybody does it. So, whatever. But still, I'm proud of it. Otherwise, yeah, the only thing over here that's special is when I have things to be fortuned, I put them in here. I'll take my fortune pick and just load everything up, place it, fortune it, throw it in the oven, and walk away. Pretty straightforward. Should we talk about downstairs yet? Yeah, we'll talk about a little bit down here, because this did come pretty early game down here, but we won't go into the tunnel system yet. But anyway, rest your bum. Bench donated by no one, because you know how there's always like this bench donated by blah blah blah. Well, this bench was donated by no one. The enchanting room came pretty early because with all, you know, on an SMP you get resources from others that are shared. You normally wouldn't get right away, right? So this enchanting room was pretty early on. I've gone through several anvils. I've got, you know, I plan on getting every book type, but I only have a few books. I never really utilized a lot of this. I have crossbows. I don't use them. I don't use tridents. I don't even think I have a trident. I don't use it anyway if I did. Lapis, there's a bunch of that in here. But otherwise, yeah, I haven't used this. Oh my gosh, I haven't enchanted something in years because I just mend everything now. Or I just throw a book on it through the anvil. Oh, hey, I have a texture that I missed. Where'd that come from? Okay, well, there you go. I got to fix that texture. Oh, I bet I did it for the current version of Minecraft. I didn't go back and throw it in here. I'll leave it. We'll be updating the server at some point anyway, so I'll just leave it. But anyway, that's kind of funny. So yeah, this room came pretty early on. It was hard to build because it runs into my floor up here. And the lighting up there. So that's why some of this stuff I had to like use, see how these are different? Because that's where I have lights for the floor above. But you're not supposed to notice that. I was supposed to probably make it a diamond to make it symmetrical, but I forgot. You know, put one there, put one there. So these little details sometimes I forget. But anyway, yeah. And then this goes to my tunnel system, which we'll talk about later if I remember. Then over here is the brewing room. Again, this was also very early on because of shared resources. This is just infinite water supply that hides under there, obviously. And this is all pretty obvious stuff. Nether wart, and then redstone, and then all these random supplies. And then I was running out of nether wart, so as I went to the nether, I built my nether wart brewing room, which is very difficult on the eyes and makes me kind of nauseous to look because of the low ceiling. But again, details in the ceiling, right? It's not a smooth ceiling. I love doing this pattern. I have to do this all the time on SurvivorCraft. And then I did it on this server. Again, this was an early on build. This was early in the server, and then I've forgotten to build like that. I gotta go back to that. Huh. And then this goes out to that mansion. We'll talk about that later. And then again, tunnel, right, connects around here. Actually, we will talk about this tunnel because this is an early build. This tunnel goes right out here behind the office. See, there's the office. But we'll talk about that the hot spring and stuff later. Oh, I'm going to break my grass trying to get in. Oh, I got it. Okay. So there you go. So that was all the early stuff, like right away when I was playing like constantly and I had the time. When my kids were in sports, I'd drop them off and come home and play, and now I don't have time. But that's what I used to do. So that's early. And then, before we even built the house upstairs, we built, well, this bridge first of all, except this was nothing. And my cats kept falling off. Like Squirrel, my real life cat Squirrel. Yep. Anyway, yeah, so cats used to keep falling off, so I built these chains. Now they just hop up on the chain. This is new, obviously. Anyway, so let's see. And we used to not see this mountain, so I asked Epona to expand the base default generation by like 2 chunks so that we could see this mountain. Because the reason I chose this area is in Minecraft, I don't like to be able to see the edge of the world, right? If you're on an ocean, that's fine because in real life, you see the horizon. But I don't like seeing the world just end in Minecraft. So here there's a big void. So I asked Epona to extend the range, the generation by like 2 chunks so that we could have something blocking the void. And then over here you see the forest. See? So it doesn't end. It looks like the world doesn't end. And then we're in this big bowl here, obviously. And then over here even, at least here, it looks like it ends, but you can also tell, oh, it's a hill because you can see the tops of buildings down on the side of the hill because it's literally a hill. So this doesn't look like a void to me. This looks like down the hill, right? So, plus you don't really zoom in. Normally you just see this. So we're in this bowl. I carved it all out. Got rid of all the trees because they're birch forest, a very densely generated birch forest. Carved it all out. I left the hill. So I didn't take out any hill or anything. I didn't do any, well, I did a tiny bit of terraforming here for this build. But other than that, I left all this. So I dug it all out with preparation for this. And then the dang patrols kept spawning right here and getting me. So I couldn't even work. It wasn't so bad when they were there because I could see them. But when I'd be working up here and then they'd spawn over here and come up and startle me, I have an issue with my fibromyalgia that I've talked about it before, but not for a while. But adrenaline is incredibly painful for me. So normally adrenaline is your fight or flight response, right? For me, it's just pain, and I hurt my wrists and my back, but mainly my wrists aren't so much excruciating pain. I can't use my fingers. It'll last like a day or so. So I will get startled by the patrols. Not scared, but startled. There's a difference between being scared and startled. Nothing scares me, but I do get startled. So I would get startled by the patrols. And then the pain would be so painful I couldn't play piano, I couldn't type, I couldn't work. I couldn't use my hands for like 12 to 24 hours. So Epona saw one of my videos, and without me asking, she turned off patrols. Which is great, because I wasn't going to be able to play anymore if patrols are on, because they startle me. Now, if I'm like the Nether or somewhere, and if I'm out at night with people, I'm expecting monsters, that's totally fine. In a cave, I'm expecting monsters, it's fine. But if I'm startled, it's painful. Like if I'm mining and I run into a cave and fall in, a lot of pain shoots through my body. So that's why, if you haven't made the connection, that's why you've never seen patrols in any of my videos for 3 or 4 years. Because of that. That's the backstory. I don't know if I've ever told that before. It's not a secret, but I don't think I've ever told it to anybody. So anyway, so patrol just spawned in here. It was super annoying during the day because it would be light level 7 or lower even during the day. That was the rules back then. Not sure if it still is. So anywho, once that was taken care of, I started building down here. And, pretty straightforward stuff. I started over here with my farms. Of course, this was not done and polished, but I started with my farms. Pretty straightforward and obvious, right? Then just storage, I do have, this was a recent addition. I named him and got that going. I forgot what the name is, to be honest. Is it Jeb? Yeah, Jeb underscore. Anyway, I represent all the different things you can, at least for the most part. Wheat, and then I just split carrots and, wow, what are those called? Why do I want to say parsnips? Beetroots, holy cow. And then carrots, potatoes, sorry, these are potatoes, not carrots. Anyway, so I got everything represented. I don't use any of it anymore. I don't need my pigs anymore, so I just have a couple with their protection right there. The cows I use all the time, because that's my main food source. And sheep, I just AFK at the sheep farm, at the wool farm at spawn if I need wool. So I only use the wheat. So we built all this, got some melons going. Oh, that's interesting. I guess melons used to grow there. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Got some flowers in here, and then chickens, they were flying away, so I buried them. I covered them, and under here's my chicken egg farm, so they poop out the eggs. There are hoppers under the carpet, draws them in, and right below us is my storage, which has been full for many, many years. So if you were to hang out here, the eggs are just floating around because the hoppers are full. So anything they drop is just going to float around because it's completely full. I used to have storage back here, but I changed it to down below. Oh yeah, lighting where I need it is hidden. And then of course, some small farms of these things. And then if I just need a few things, otherwise I have a full, huge wheat farm over there now, as well as a full, whatever this is called, sugarcane farm I'm building. And the cactus farm, I have all that. And I have bamboo farm over there. So I have large scale farms over there for projects. This is just for decoration now. I actually don't use any of this stuff anymore. And then, honey. Now, my honey farm is tiny. It only gives me 2 things at a time. So I do have to come in here and there should be 6. Where are the other ones? There they are. Okay, cool. So I do have to come in here and manually harvest these. I could do an automatic thing, but I don't know. I did want to do a honey block project, but it was taking me forever to get the blocks. So I just let it go. Whenever I'm in the area, I'll just grab the honey. I just forget about it, but it's there when I need it. Before we move to this side, this TTT was put in here right away. I did this as soon as I built the farms. If you're wondering why the shaders do that, if you're in a dark area and you come outside, it's foggy because your eyes have to adjust. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. I love it. Anyway, the TTT I put in right away, right in the hill before there were train tracks back there. I also put the fence decoration. So that was right away so people would know it's my base. I mean, they all know anyway, but just in case they stumbled across it, they'd be like, oh, tall turtle. So that was right away. And then we put in, these things here when we got them. This wasn't right away, but I squeezed it in here once I found my geode downstairs. Again, donated, I call it cake. Donated by no one. So yeah, that's there. I'm proud of this simple modern build. I like it a lot, actually. It's really nice to look at from across the way. And then this, my bird thing, my parrot house, I don't know what you call it. Bird aviary, I guess. Fani brought some parrots over for me. Was it Fani or was it Nursing Geek? No, I think Nursing Geek got me these. And then I named them Freddy and Betty. Or was it? Because I know on Survivor Craft, Nursing Geek found one of my rogue birds. and Nursing Geek knew it was mine because it was named Betty or something. And then I remember in Discord like, hey Turtle, I found one of your birds. So maybe, I don't know if Nursing Geek got me these birds or if Fani did. I can't remember. Again, it's been 4 years. On top of that, I thought I had 4 birds in here. I guess I only have 2. Freddy and Betty. My wife and I used to call each other Freddy and Betty. Don't ask why. I think we watched like a scary movie or something. I don't know. Don't ask why we used to call each other Freddy, Betty. I mean, that was over 20 years ago. So whatever. Don't hold it against me. So I love this build too. It's fun. It's cute. And then again, lit up. This was before the moss. This is before moss existed. So that was the old way of doing things. Those of you who aren't Minecraft players. And then copper was introduced to the game. So then I built a slime farm below us. And then I just had it just pop up and you just sit on the bench. But once copper was introduced, I built this thing with the slime farm below us, which we'll visit later. But you can come in here and you can AFK here. Stand here for slow AFK. That's for the slime farm below us. And then if you go to the axolotl pool, it's fast AFK. Because in Minecraft, for those of you who don't know, because a lot of my viewers are Flight Sim viewers, a lot of you don't know Minecraft. In order to get certain types of mobs to spawn to do things for you, you have to be a certain number of blocks away depending on the mob and the rules. So if you want to be safe, you can sit here and be safe and like overnight and stuff. And they'll spawn slime, but it's slower. If you go over to the axolotl pool, it's within a different range and it's faster, but at the time this wasn't protected and you could be attacked by monsters if you weren't paying attention. So that's what that's for. And then there's water elevators, which I love. I love water elevators. That one is so far down. If you don't line up with the water exactly and you bump the edge, you die. That's how far down that is. I actually have another one that's farther. We'll show in a minute. So anyway, I made it look interesting, built into the mountain. I love building things into the wall and into the mountain. And, you know, light, slime on top, because it's the slime farm. So there you go. And with these shaders, the light shines through and it moves up today. So there's that. Going into the middle now, right? Oh, no, sorry, there's more here. So this was the only terraforming I did. Is there was a little hill here that I flattened it out so I could build my Zen Peace Garden thing. I have 2 of these on the server. One's way over there. And then you can just hang out, and it's the tuff, which I want to redo the texture so it looks less blurry. And all that. The next version of Minecraft has multiple tuff blocks, but at the same time, if you look at the default tuff, it looks exactly like this, just less detailed. So I haven't decided what to do with it. But anyway, this is tuff in the water. Just, you know, chill, relax, don't fall in. You can not go skinny dipping in there, but you can just relax. And then we got the steps, so you can have a little curb or border. Then we got gravel. And the tree that is not moldy for some reason, not rotten. So again, every tiny detail. I'm so into details, but then I move along and never see them again. So again, this is all geode stuff. We'll see the geode in a little bit. And then this is just an, you know, hedge, a nice manicured hedge, because we can. And there you go. So then that brings us back to here. Yeah, I think this was first before the axolotl pool. You come down here. This used to just be a wall right here. You come down here, and you go down here, and we have the nether portal room, which was an early build. Again, because shared resources among the server, I was able to get to the nether soon. So this was built right away, and it pretty much looked like this. As soon as I went under to the nether and got the black stone, I finished it. I'm expecting like a piglin or whatever they're called now to come on and get me, but these are lower slabs. Yeah, so nothing can spawn in here. I don't think they can spawn anyway. No. Now that the light levels have changed. But anyway, so this nether room was pretty early. And I love making use nether portals because it's fun. Although you just run down and go like this. But yeah, so this was an early build. I actually had to change this because I had started a mine for iron under here and had to like patch it all up and stuff. But that was early. And then, I guess we'll talk about this in a minute. And then we had the axolotl pool or pond. And this was a super, super fun build. Axolotls. I think Fani gave me 1 or 2 in a bucket and I bred them myself, I think. I don't remember how I got them. I have more axolotls in buckets too. I have a bunch more. I just haven't placed them. And they're all named after the band members of Bare Naked Ladies, which was my favorite band for a very, very long time. Of course, everybody knows who they are because they were enormous in the U.S. And then they fell off the charts, but they've made like 10 albums since they were popular. They still sell out arenas in Canada. Like they'll still sell out an arena for 2 days in a row in Canada, but not in the U.S. But I don't listen to much anymore because right now they're at the point now where every single song is exactly the same 3 chords. They just move the capo up and down the guitar, and it's just, yeah. I don't know, it's getting boring. So they're not my favorite band anymore, but they used to be for a couple decades, back to the late 80s. And so they're named after the Bare Naked Ladies members. Kevin, let's see if I can remember them. It's been a while. Kevin, right? That's my favorite keyboardist. And then Stephen Page, who's no longer in the band. Ed Robertson. And then Tyler's the drummer. And Jim Cregan is the bassist. They say you're only a fan of a band if you know the name of the bassist. Jim Cregan. He used to have his brother Andy too, but that was back in 1990 or 1988 or something. And yeah, that's how they're named. And then the art around the edges is my kids' art. So if you don't know by now, I have a separate texture pack of just art where I took my kids' school art. They're too old now for school art projects, but when they were in school art, they did all these art projects, and I put it in Minecraft, so the paintings are their artwork. There's one thing in here, though, that is my grandmother's, one of my grandmother's prize paintings. Is it over? Yeah, this. So my grandma was an accomplished artist. She wasn't famous. You're not going to know her name or anything, but she was accomplished. And this is one of my favorite paintings. When she died, my aunt took all the paintings. And I'm like, I have my grandmother prepared for her death for like 20 years. So I had my name on the back of a couple paintings. And my aunt took them all, and I said I would like those paintings. And she didn't argue with me. So this is one of them. And it's hanging up in my living room. And looks just like that, obviously. But more detail, because it's oil. It's, original oil on canvas. She would never do prints. So many people begged her to make prints. She's like, no, originals only. So she's like, that way if I ever become famous and you have one of my paintings, it's an original. And then I have another one. So I have both of them hanging up in my living room. If I remember, I should take a picture of them and insert it right now. And so yeah, I'm really proud to have those hanging up in my living room. Everybody asked about them. Some people ask me if they're mine. I'm like, do you really think I'm capable of that? You've got to be joking. So very proud to display those forever and ever. But the rest is all my kid stuff. The newer versions of Minecraft have more paintings, which I have not found paintings to put in them. So I'm, when we do update the server, half the paintings will be not my kids, at least not for now. Alrighty, so that takes us through the first part of the base, and that means the video needs to end soon because it's really long so far. Oh, you know what? I really should do behind here. This was a very late addition. Like, this was dangerous. Not built for a long time, but let's talk about it anyway, just so I don't lose track of what I'm doing. And then we'll end the video, part 1, I should say. Oh, this was a new thing, because I was getting so many seeds I didn't need. I would throw them in here, and then, just get stuff there. So that's kind of recent. This goes up to the train station, which we'll talk about when we talk about the rail lines. This goes out. This used to be the edge of my base until I started doing stuff over there. Talk about that later. But this, this goes tunnel, which we'll talk about later, going to the city. And then again, when Moss first came out, I bone mealed a whole bunch of it to get more, to have a lot of hidden lighting everywhere. And this was our little secret path, not so secret, for a little hot spring thing we can hang out. I kept the torches on purpose to make it look rustic. And I created this waterfall thing here to come down. A little hot spring. I don't know if, I'm sure I've told you the story. No, I haven't on the Minecraft channel. I tell it on my flight sim channel a lot when I'm in the mountains flying, but my wife was talked into going with her friend to an outdoors club, and she got to spend 2 days in hot springs in the Rocky Mountains in Idaho. There were 30 of them, 30 people that crammed into this tiny cabin to sleep. It was just like this little retreat because she went to grad school in the mountains, and her friend talked her into going. So she spent 2 days in hot springs in Idaho in the winter. Winter hiking, and then going in the hot springs. The caveat is, and you knew this was coming, they went in naked because they would hike in all their winter hiking gear, strip naked, go in the hot springs for 2 days, and hike back to the cabin. My wife hated it because she was so shy and prudish at the time, but her friend talked her into it, and I will admit I'm so insanely jealous. That's like the only thing I'm jealous of, is that she had that amazing natural experience in the mountains in the winter. I mean, come on. That's the most amazing thing in the world. And she got to do it and she hated it, or that's heaven for me. So that's what this is. I never told that story. That's what this is. This is the hot spring my wife went to in the mountains in the winter. We're just in the bottom of a hill, that's all. So that's where that idea came from. I want to run around to the other side super fast and show you what it looks like over here. And then we'll end the video because it's about the length I wanted it to be. I always go here to get down there too, even now, and I'm always wrong. So this, I just finished it. Again, another little waterfall thing. And this ends here. And that's because this is fed from... Oh, that guy's dying. It's fed from this waterfall, which is natural. I did not put that in. That was there when I found it. And see, this feeds the hot spring, see? See? So it's like a hot spring under there with cold water from the waterfall. So I don't know how that would work, how comfortable that would be in real life. But that's where this is fed from, and that's where it comes from. Then there's this bridge that you can't get up to once you're down here. You're just stuck. And there you go. We'll swim. And again, there's another portal room. And that covers what... Well, that doesn't cover phase 1 of the base. We have a lot of phase 1 left to talk about. But that covers the first video. I have to talk about the outside of the mountain. I gotta talk about all this. This is all still phase 1. But again, I'm taking my time. I don't want to rush through... this base tour because there's a lot of detail and I don't want to miss any of it. So subscribe so you know when the next video drops in this little mini series. If you're new here, welcome. Hit the like button so people know we exist, and I'll see you next time for more base tour.